but those of us that have been able to work with Tim over the last year in doTERRA have really got to see a different side. So over that last year, I've been able to be at events with him at schools, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, boys and girls clubs, nonprofit organizations, where he's taught these kids about not only being healthy and eating healthy and exercising, but having a purpose-driven life and having goals. And not only does he help the community, but here at doTERRA, he shows up early in the morning to work us out. And on the last incentive trip in Hawaii, you think about incentive trips, beaches, relaxing, sleeping
all
in.
about the sun.
No. 6:30 in the morning, he had hundreds of people out near the ocean exercising every single day. And it just speaks to who he is.
Oh yeah, and if you're not checking out Wellness Wednesdays, guys, you've got to check out Wellness Wednesdays. Not only does Tim give us great tips on how to stay fit, but he gives you recipes, even works on mental health as well.
He does. Okay, so get ready for this. Tim is here with us. He's going to talk about helping us lose our COVID-19 pounds.
Oh, those quarantine pounds
maybe that we've got during quarantine.
Yeah.
So welcome to the stage, Tim Hightower. He's going to talk about living a purpose-driven life and how you can be more healthy.
What is up, my doTERRA family? This is Tim Hightower, and I'm so excited to be here with you. Today, you've heard a lot of presentations. Today, I want to talk about creating a wellness routine. It is important. You may think about fitness, something about food, but I want to talk about the habits and the routines that will allow you, your family, to have success, to be healthy, and to accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish. Why am I even here today, you may be asking? What does this former football player have to do with doTERRA, and why is he here talking to me? For me, a lot of you, if you've seen the video, if some of you know the story, some of you don't, but I spent 3 years, almost 4 years away from the NFL, battling an injury, battling countless surgeries, infections, and I made a promise to myself that the pain that I was going through, I would allow that to fuel my purpose, that I would find gratification out of doing exactly what I'm doing now, talking to people about the importance of wellness, the importance in how to take care of your body. I spent thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars researching the routines of others and just really finding out how I can be the best that I can be. And I wanted to bring that information here to you. And I found a company in doTERRA who was passionate about empowering others in their wellness life, in their business, in their families. And so that's why I'm here. But let's talk some routines. So first, one of my favorite quotes is the power to define is the power to fulfill. Yes, let me say it one more time. The power to define is the power to fulfill. What does that even mean? If I don't know what wellness means to me, if I don't know what anything, if I can't define something, it's hard for me to accomplish what I can't define. So this is going to be for men and women. So men, ladies, if you got your husbands or significant others, go get them. Tell them Tim Hightower said, come in here now. Watch this. If you're in the living room, if you're in the kitchen, the office, I need you all front and center, tuned in. This is for everybody. Because here's one thing I do know about us men. We do not take care of our bodies. We're leading some of these health categories. We're less likely to get medical help. We're not taking care of our bodies. We work hard, but I want us to take care of ourselves. And so this is for you, this is for women, this is for the kids, this is for everybody. So let's talk again about wellness. For me, I define wellness as a series of lifestyle habits that allow me to be and to give my best. For me, that means mindset. That means the things that I'm putting in my body, the things that I'm listening to, watching, my sleep. All of these things, if I cannot have the energy to feel great, to help people, then to me, that's not wellness. So everything we're talking about, yes, we're going to talk about food. Don't put down your popcorn or your snacks. It's okay. Just listen. We're going to talk about food a little bit. We're going to talk about fitness. And lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about focus. So let's talk wellness. First of all, for me, it hasn't always been, this has been a wellness journey. It's been a process. And let me just start out with my wellness journey and how I began. Starting out in the NFL, I'm 21 years old, I get drafted. It didn't change overnight. I liked fast food. I liked my ice cream. I liked my comfort foods. I said, hey, I'm 21 years old. I'm in great shape. I can eat whatever I want to eat. I didn't really value sleep. I felt like because I worked hard, these things shouldn't matter. That's what people do when they're old. They got to worry about their food. They got to worry about how much sleep they get. And it wasn't until when I got injured that I invested everything. I was obsessed with finding out how I can take care of my body, because that's what sometimes happens, right? We neglect our health, we neglect our wellness, our mental and emotional well-being. But when we're in a crisis, we're willing to give everything that we have to try to get that back. So I don't want that to happen. Again, don't put down your popcorn or your pizza or whatever you're eating. I just want to share some things with you to empower you and help you begin to build your wellness routine. In football, I talked about the injury, right? For me, here's why wellness is so important to me. Because I know that when I went through that injury, it impacted everything in my life. Let me tell you where I was 2011, 12, 13. I was newly married. I had no clue what being a husband was all about. I just knew I liked this girl. It should work out. Couldn't be further from the truth, because as soon as I got married, I was without a job. And it was a downward spiral of things. I was out of money, really out of money. This NFL player, I had invested everything into my health and trying to get back, but I'm out of money. So I'm newly married, I'm out of money, I'm frustrated all the time, I'm in pain all the time. I was not a fun guy to be around. And I can hear my wife in my ear saying, amen. I was not a fun guy to be around. No matter what creative ideas I had, no matter the person I wanted to be, I couldn't even tap into those things because my body and my mind weren't well. So I understand the value of wellness. But before we talk about these routines and before we talk about these habits, the first habit, something that if you watch the video, the first thing that I had to do was I had to go back to exactly what I did when I was a little kid. I had to identify what was success for me. I had to write down, I had to wipe my tears. I did this multiple times. And I had to define success. What did I want? And that was hard. That was hard because I'm trying to figure out how do I make sense of what do I need versus what do I want? What's going to happen? I was uncertain about the times that we were in. I was uncertain about tomorrow. I was uncertain about my self-confidence. I didn't have self-confidence, my worth. I started asking myself, and some of you may be able to relate, and not to relate to the time, not to compare it to the times that we're in right now, but I often think about and reflect back to those times, being in this time of uncertainty that a lot of us are in now. Who was I? I had to re-identify myself. Football was no longer there. Maybe your business isn't there. Maybe certain relationships have been lost. Who am I without these things? Will I ever be the same? Will my earning potential ever be the same? Will I ever be able to add the same value to society? How will my family and my friends and people who looked up to me for so long, how will they view me? How did I view myself? And lastly, I felt like I let everybody down. I felt like I let myself down. So how in the world do I rebound from this? And who cares about eating healthy food? Who cares about working out? I don't even feel good. But again, the first thing we had to come back to was, what was success? And so I challenge you all, the first thing, to sit there right where you are. Grab your pen, grab your pad, grab your iPhone. I don't care what you have. Grab something. Go get it. I'll wait. And write down, what do I want? What is an image of success for me? Not for anybody else, for me. That was the first thing that I had to find out. The second thing, I'm in a crisis now, okay? Relationships. I had to learn how to rely on others. Because here's what I was being told, right? Everyone was telling me I was at the top of my game. I was an expert. I was professional. Everyone came to me for help. They figured that I had it all together. But now I'm hitting rock bottom, and the great thing that it forced me to do was start to rely on other people. to reach out to those who are further ahead than me. Tell them I need help. I'm out of money. How did you fix your relationship? How did you heal your body? And what did you do to take care of your body? I always had to start to develop relationships around me. The first one being spiritual. I'm not going to preach to you all today. I'm not here to give you a sermon. And we all have different beliefs, and I respect that. But one thing I believe is there's a bigger purpose than all of us. And to me, that's when I say spiritual, I mean understanding that it's bigger than me. There's something, that there are forces that are working that are greater than me, and then I do fit in that puzzle. Secondly, I'll talk about a mentor. We always want to have somebody who is further along than us, who can guide us and help us and alleviate some of the mistakes that we may make. If you don't have a physical person, hey, there are times I studied Magic Johnson. I studied different people when I was hurt, and even now, I always do that. Mentee, the third relationship. As I learn, I'm always pulling somebody along. I'm always paying it forward. Take time to invest. You may think, what do I have to offer? Maybe when I get to a certain place, I can help someone else. But you don't understand there's always somebody watching you who is saying, man, I would love to be where they are. And lastly, friendships. We're not meant to walk this life alone. Do not walk this life alone. We need somebody to laugh with, to encourage, to cry with. We got to have these friendships. 4 key relationships that I would encourage you all to have. The second thing, I had to start to find other habits and things that I enjoyed. I had to find hobbies outside of football that I enjoyed. Maybe this is the time now that you all are home. This is an opportunity for you to maybe relearn some things some interests that you once had, or to develop some new routines and hobbies with your friends, virtually, or your family members. For me, I picked up books and I picked up cooking. Those were 2 things. Here are some of my favorite books. What these books did for me, they opened me up to different possibilities, where all I could think about was what was presently right in front of me and the experiences that I was having or that I've had, but being able to live through the experiences of others, being able to learn from the experiences, the wisdom, the failures, the shortcomings, being inspired, creating opportunities and growth. That's what reading became for me. I prefer to pick up a book and read now than I do to watch a movie. But that habit was developed during that time of pain. Cooking was also another thing. I learned that I could turn on some music, I could go in my zone. And here's a quick funny story. So the first thing I attempted to cook for my wife was scrambled eggs. We've all made scrambled eggs. Well, maybe most of us have. I just knew I was going to be romantic. I was trying to be a good husband, and there were eggshells in the eggs, and she laughed. And I'm not going to lie, I hurt my feeling. I didn't shed a tear, but I was a little emotional because I put my all into it. But I determined that I was going to figure out and to take this on. And now I cook for her regularly. I cook not even just for her, for myself. It's therapeutic. The point is, find something, find things, find hobbies that you can enjoy. That's a part of your wellness routine. That's outside of, no one's counting on you to perform at a high level. No one's invested in it. It's just something, it's you and your hobby that's part of your wellness routine. The second thing. Here are some of the power foods. For me, I learned we are going to talk about food. And what I did learn during that time away was everything that I put into my body, everything, I repeat, that I put into my body affects my body. It affects my mental, it affects my emotional, and it affects my physical. Everything. And so I started taking inventory of how these foods are impacting not just the inflammation of my performance, but how are they affecting my emotions? I get excited when I eat certain things. When I think about chocolate, I get excited. Why is that? All our bodies are different. We all have there are different foods that trigger certain responses in my body. So pay attention. I'm encouraging you today. Pay attention. If you're waking up and you feel energized when you eat certain things, when you drink certain things, if you feel sluggish or bloated after you eat something, if you have gas after you eat something, I know you may be thinking that's TMI. It's all good here. It's all good. Pay attention to when you put something into your body, how does it impact everything? How does it impact you? and you want to start to build a list of your power foods. I call these my power foods. These may work for you. Some of these don't. I got my favorite, some of my favorites up here. I try to get these into my diet and just into the menu weekly. I'm not eating them every day, but I try to make sure that I'm keeping, if I have a list, that I'm keeping these foods in my routine. So go through your cabinet and find out, start to build your food, your power foods. Morning routines. I'm a firm believer in starting the day off right. We want to start the day off right. So if we're talking about wellness, remember we're going to talk about our food, but the routine, starting the morning off, there's so many studies about even just making your bed, right? There's something about the way you start something, and not to say that if you don't start it right, it won't be right, but there's something powerful in starting the day with authority, with purpose. And so routines for me have helped me. Here are some ways that, if you see on the screen, that some of my favorite ways that I'm using doTERRA, essential oils. One of my favorite things, the first thing I do is just waking up in the morning and just 32 ounces of warm water, some lime, some grapefruit, some type of citrus oil, but I'm just flushing whatever toxins out of my body. And most importantly, I'm sitting there and I'm just being grateful. I'm visualizing the day. I'm visualizing success of the day. This may be business, this may be family, this may be personal, whatever it is, but I'm just eliminating anything that's still in my body, attempting to, and I'm just starting the day off right. So I got my favorite smoothie there. Try it. This is not to say that everything that I do is right. It's to say that these things that I'm learning works for me. It gets me going. It gives me energy in the morning. It gets me in the right mindset to have a productive day. So build your morning routine. We talked about habits. We talked about journaling. We talked about knowing what you want. And now we're talking about morning routines. A part of your wellness journey. Nighttime, sleep. Remember I told you when I was a young kid, I did not like to sleep. I felt like I was missing on the action. Like the good stuff happens. My mom used to tell me when I was a kid, nothing good happens after 12. Well, when I got to college, I challenged that theory. I said the good parties start at 12 o'clock. So I felt like I was missing out on something. But what I didn't understand was between 10 o'clock and 2 a.m., that is your peak time for sleep. Because that's when all your hormones, that's when you're in deep REM sleep. That's when all the good and the magic happens. I didn't realize it, so I thought I was missing out. But my body was missing out. My body was compromised. Again, guys, I'm going to talk to you for a quick second. We are overstimulated and underslept. We're stressed out. So this is something that's very dear to my heart is sleep. I know we're in this self-made era. We got to show what we're doing. We got to work harder than everybody else. But let's make some time for sleep. So a few of my favorite things, you see some of my favorite oils are there on the screen. Find out what you like. But I love to take Epsom salt baths, with whether it's Serenity, Deep Blue, Lavender, whatever you got. I love to take Epsom salt baths. I love to have my feet up against the wall before I go to sleep. I love to visualize, to program my mind for success, to close my eyes and sometimes just imagine myself being where I want to be, and writing and journaling. I use the nighttime, put that phone away, put it on airplane mode, get the technology, try not to work in your room, put the phones and the distractions away, and at night, program and start to reflect, be grateful for the day, go over, meditate for the day, and prepare yourself for the next day. So develop your nighttime routine. If you want to try some of the things that I've used. If not, great, develop your own nighttime routine. And lastly, I believe that we are driven by principles. Establish your principles, life principles, wellness principles. We all live by them. We just may not have identified the principles that we live by. So we might as well identify them, create some, and now we have a system by which we can make sound decisions. Prior to the injury, I kind of just dealt with situations as they came. I handled them as they came. But as I started to learn from mentors, as I started to read, as I started to take inventory of some of the things and the patterns that were happening in my life, I started to ask myself questions. Why do certain things repeatedly happen and others don't? And then I started to learn and find out, wow, it's because of principles or the lack thereof. And so here are some of my favorite ones. You got movement in there. I'm moving 30 minutes. Right now, our workouts are different. Okay, so adjusting our minds to, it's about movement. Movement is the key to life. We may not have to bulk up right now or run for 5 miles in a day, but if we can just move our bodies for 30 minutes, if we can make sure we're always connected to our community, if we can just practice gratitude, if we can get our sleep in, some of these things, they're just reminders that as I'm making decisions, as I'm going throughout my day, I want to keep these things on the forefront of my mind. When we are intentional with our habits and our choices, we allow ourselves to be happy, to be fulfilled. We give ourselves a better choice, a chance. We give ourselves a better chance to live the lives and to be pleased with the decisions that we make. Thank you all for staying here with me. I'm excited to get to know, for those of you who I have met, for those of you who I have not met. Fellas, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out. I need more men ladies, I know you've held it down with doTERRA and it's been great. But fellas, I need us. I need us. I'm calling you. I'm here. I'm here a part of doTERRA because I believed in the vision here, because I believed in what they are creating here and their desires to help and empower people, and again, in business and in wellness. So fellas, I need us. I need us to show up, to not just rely on our wives and say, hey, they're going to take care of the wellness. They're going to take care of the kids and the nutrition and the exercise. I need us to step up. I'm calling you out. I'm doing it. I'm taking on the challenge. So let's do it. I want to hear your feedback. Please let me know. Tim Hightower on social media. If you're on social media, please provide feedback. If there's any way that I can help and support you and your family along your wellness journey, I promise you I will. If I don't know the answer, I promise you I will find someone who does know, or I will find out the best way to support you. So keep moving, keep smiling, do not give up. Remember, tough times will pass, and we will all be the better of it. Develop your wellness routines, and lastly, be the best you. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Tim. That was awesome. You know, Russell, as much as I've loved wearing these jerseys, I think maybe we should give them away. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. Now, these are professional jerseys. So we're gonna have to have some kind of contest for people to win these jerseys. What do you think? Maybe, how about the best touchdown celebration?
Ooh, I think that's a good idea. I mean, these are Tim Hightower jerseys.
They are. So if you hashtag Leadership Live 2020, send us your best touchdown celebration, you could win these. So what do you think, Austin? Do you have a touchdown celebration?
You know, if I was gonna submit, maybe I'd do something like this. I don't know.
That's all right.
Maybe? Yeah?
That's
what do you
all
think?
right.
What would you do?
You know, I was a basketball player growing up, never played football, but this is what I'd do.
Hold up. You guys are talking about touchdown celebrations. If you're going to do a touchdown, let me show you how to do a touchdown.
From a professional.
Okay, so you got your spin.
All right.
Right, you got to spin. We got to do a little bit better than that. You got to spin. You got to slide.
Ooh.
You got to have a little shimmy. And then you walk off just like that.
I like it.
That was pretty amazing. Hey, Tim, while you're here, would you mind signing these jerseys? Because we're going to send these out to some lucky guys. You do that for us?
Let's do it.
Whoever wins these is lucky. My turn?
Nice.
Am I gonna see
Awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, Tim.
There you go, man. Absolutely. So I look forward to seeing some good celebrations.
Yeah, and we want to see those. Remember, hashtag Leadership Live 2020 to get your chance to earn one of these signed jerseys.
Let's do it. Catch you later, fellas.
Hey,
Thanks, Tim.